Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tia. If you are new, please like and subscribe. But for today's video, I'm going to be saying everything that I hate about the zodiac signs. So I'm not really that spiritual or like religious or whatever, but I do take an interest in astrology. I feel like it's really interesting how your birth date and everything can define some qualities about who you are. Obviously, it's not going to be extremely accurate and people are going to have different personalities, blah, blah, blah. But these are just a couple of the things that I hate about each of the zodiac signs. So I'm going to start off with Aries. I feel like I've never met an Aries or had an Aries friend, but everyone that I've seen on social media just brings like a kind of strong energy to them. I feel like a couple of things that I hate about them is that like they're always kind of crazy and energetic, and that they think that they're really edgy and like have to be in control all the time. Like they also talk a lot of shit about people because they are kind of aggressive and everything I've seen online just makes it come across as if they're just like kind of like mean energy. So me personally, I don't think I could get along with an Aries because my energy is more so like calm and stuff. I'm not really that energetic, so I don't know if I would get along with an Aries. The next sign that I have is Capricorn. I feel like, I don't know, Capricorns, I low-key do get along with them because they are earth signs like me, because I'm a Virgo. So every Capricorn that I've met has been like friendly. Well, the women have. I feel like Capricorn women are top tier, but the Capricorn men that I've met are low-key narcissistic. I feel like they do cut everyone off with no explanation, because that's what happened when I was talking to a guy like years ago. He just like cut me off, and then he would try to come back into my life, and then back and forth, back and forth. I feel like they're also really self-centered, which comes, like I said, with the narcissism. Like Capricorn men kind of give me like an arrogant vibe. I have Aquarius, so they kind of like change their mind every second. They're back and forth with decisions and they're indecisive. I feel like I've only met one Aquarius. It was a guy. He was extremely funny, I'll give him that, and he was a good kisser, but like, I don't know, they're kind of nonchalant and they act chill all the time. I have Pisces. I feel like Pisces like want to be right, but they kind of act like a child at times, because I've only met I think maybe two Pisces, but all of them were kind of like shy and childish vibes. They also get offended by everything pretty easily, because every time I try to talk to a Pisces, like I'll say something so simple and they take it so literally. So I don't feel like I get along with Pisces a lot, for real. And Taurus, like once their mind is made up, like that's all they have. Like that's it, they're just stubborn people. My sister is a Taurus, and I feel like we could get along if we like knew each other on a deeper level, but like I don't know, it's kind of like a weird energy. But all the Taurus men that I've talked to, I feel like they're really chill, but like they do have like a strong personality, and like they're kind of like they get up and go, they gotta do this, gotta do this. And then we have Gemini. So before I got into astrology, I was always like, oh, like why does everybody hate Geminis? Like why is that like the stereotypical sign that everybody says is bad, or like they're evil, two-faced, blah blah blah. And then I actually got into it and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then I actually met Geminis and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. So basically when I was getting into it, I realized like my mom is a Gemini and I'm a Virgo, and you know, people say that those signs don't really get along. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty true, you know, because I feel like with every Gemini that I've met, it's been a love-hate relationship, and that's kind of how it is with me and my mom. It's like, you know, one minute will be like good, and then other minutes will be like yelling at each other, you know. So it would be like good conversation, but then we would get into an argument, and the argument would last like so long. It would just be unnecessarily dragged out because he didn't want like me to win the argument, I guess. I feel like they kind of don't really pay attention to a lot of things because they kind of like, I don't know, they're kind of all over the place. I feel like they don't pay attention. And then we have Cancers. So this is a water sign. They're typically known as the crybabies because they're overly emotional. I feel like they also do take a lot of things personally because they're more sensitive to what you say. At the same time, people do say that cancers are manipulative because they tend to play victim a lot, and I'm thinking like, dang, like, I don't know, because I feel like they might just be overly dramatic, I guess, and just tend to drag things out. But I feel like that's low-key the type of guy that I need, because if a cancer is really emotional and stuff, I feel like I need somebody who's emotional, especially a guy in this generation is hard to find who's actually has emotional intelligence. So I feel like out of all the signs, I might do well with a Taurus or Cancer. And we have the Leos. So for me, this is like probably the worst sign I've ever met. I used to say it was Gemini because obviously like my mom and that other guy. But Leo, once I dated a Leo and he was like an extreme narcissist and like self-centered, only cared about himself and his own thoughts and opinions, and then like constantly putting me down and blah blah blah, like always thought that everything he was saying was right, you know, because I don't even know where he would get his facts from, but he was like, yeah, like everything I'm saying is right, you're saying some nonsense. And I'm like, bro, but are you saying like what's right though? They also tend to point out what others do wrong too. And like after I did my research, I'm thinking like back to when I dated this guy, and I'm like thinking like, dang, like he really did do the most. You know, every little thing I would do, he would say like, oh, I'm doing that wrong, or I need to do it this way, or I need to change something about myself, just something like that. Another thing about Leos is that they're extremely possessive, because I guess like people always say like when they love hard or whatever. So part of me, that's low key how my I felt like my ex was, because it's like he would be out here talking to other girls or like liking their stories, blah blah blah, but he wouldn't want me talking to anybody else. Or like as soon as I followed a guy, you know, he would be on my ass about it, you know. So I'm like, dang, like how you doing this, but you can't take the same energy you dish out, you know? So just like the whole combative attitude, I can't deal with anymore, because if it just felt like I was talking to a child half the time. The next sign is Virgos. I'm a Virgo, so I'm low-key biased on this, but I feel like Virgos are low-key maybe like the second to best sign, I don't know, for women though, because I'm a Virgo woman. We also have like Zendaya, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, literally the greats. So I feel like Virgo women are like really talented. That's why I feel like Virgo males are probably the worst sign out there. Maybe even above Leos, I don't even know. Virgo male that I've heard about is really controlling and possessive and like just like nitpicky and stuff like that. And like I've heard girls talk about dating Virgo men, and they say like run, like get out of there, like he's really controlling and he doesn't let her do this, blah blah blah. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know, because I know how I am as a Virgo woman. I don't think I could date a Virgo man. But then I also have people saying that like Virgos and Virgos, they work well together because they know like how to work things under the same system and like, I don't know, just have everything in order. But I don't think I could do it for real. And then we have Libras. My dad is a Libra, but I feel like I don't really know a lot about Libras, because that's like kind of like the low-key sign. Nobody really talks about them. So does that mean that there's nothing wrong with them? But at the same time, I feel like they are kind of like picky, I guess, with certain things. Like they hold grudges a lot. They also argue a lot. A lot of people say that they're not loyal, and then they tend to pick other sides in arguments, and then that they're good liars as well. I don't know. I feel like Libras are kind of like just there. Like nobody really talks about them. If anything, the most talked about signs is like Gemini. And then we have Scorpio. So these people say that like Scorpio is like the sexual sign or whatever, but like I don't believe that for real, because I feel like everybody has a sexual side to them. But they do take everything out on others, like especially during arguments. They also internalize their feelings. They're really secretive. They also use people a lot, I feel like, because they have like that, like, what's it called, the siren eyes or whatever. So I feel like Scorpios are good at like getting what they want basically. And the last one I have is Sagittarius. So I feel like Sagittarius is another like not talked about sign. Like you don't hear anybody saying like, oh yeah, I'm a Sagittarius, blah blah blah. But like this one girl that I met at my job, she's a Sagittarius, and I was like, oh, that's cool because you know you don't really hear about them a lot. So she seemed like a really nice person. She was really sweet. I felt like our personalities got along. But then when I look at Sagittarius men, I'm like, ew. Apparently they like tend to compare themselves to others, which is realistic because when I have conversations with them, they tend to be like, oh, like I'm not as pretty as her, I'm not doing this, I'm not like as good as them. And I'm like, bro, like why are you comparing yourself so much? I don't think I could date a Sagittarius man. But in conclusion, I feel like men just basically drag down the signs in general, because I obviously like women are top tier because that's just what we are. Like no man is above a woman, I feel like. So me personally, I feel like Virgo would be a top sign if the men weren't included, but the fact that the men are included, it kind of like brings us down a bit. But yeah, anyways, that was just a couple of things that I hate about the signs. I don't know, I gotta really study up more on astrology and zodiacs in general because I feel like it really is interesting. That was the end of this video. If you guys liked it, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if you guys want more videos on this like zodiac signs in general or whatever. But I'll see you guys in the next video.